Now, I know you're about to release your second book, but I wanted to ask you about your first book, which was that in 2013?
2013, I released Make Your Story Really Stinkin' Big through Michael WEBSERIES Productions. And it was funny because when I got to LA, I didn't go to film school, so I had to self-educate myself. And so Michael WEBSERIES Productions, like, I loved their line of film books, primarily because, or at least initially because they had the best covers. And I'm like a graphic design guy, so I like nice, cool covers. I was attracted to their line of books and loved their line of books. And then when I decided to publish my book, I was going to self-publish it, but just decided on a whim to send it to them, and they ended up picking it up right away and published through them. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, that was 2013 release.
Oh, okay. And so where were you in your life when you decided to write it, and where would you find the spare time?
Sure. So when I first decided to write that book, we were really, me and my team and the guys I was hooked up with were trying to figure out how to best tell stories that touched multiple mediums and multiple platforms. How do we extend a story across a multitude of mediums in a way where it all works together to form a new experience with the audience? And actually, you know, I didn't realize it at the time, but I brought some of this with me even from law school. I produced a film while I was in law school, and it was this it's like a 25-minute short. And as the film was being produced, I wrote and produced it, I didn't direct it. And as it was being produced, I had an original song produced simultaneously for the film. What was interesting about the film was the protagonist of the film only has a couple lines during the entire film. It's just he doesn't speak hardly at all. He's very much like just this internally kind of a guy. So for the song, when I was working with the songwriter for the song, I thought, well, this was going to be a great way to get inside the character's head. So now the song is going to release these internal thoughts that you don't hear, obviously, or know about when you watch the movie. So now the song and the movie will go together in this really interesting way. Then I thought, you know, it'd be really cool when we do the music video if we can use the same sets that, you know, as we're producing the film, we can just either before we film a scene or after we film a scene before we strike, we can just put the musician in there, film the music video, then it's the same look and aesthetic as the movie. Then I thought what would be kind of cool is if we had the actors also in the scenes as well. It's like if they were blocking a scene, then we could have, you know, them in there and that kind of give it its interesting look. And then I thought, okay, well, if we can shoot the entire scene, the scenes from the movie, maybe from a different angle in the music video, when you watch the music video, you're going to get new information that you don't get from the movie. So now when you watch the music video and the movie together, it's going to give you this full thing. Made my director go crazy, as you can imagine. But I brought that type of thinking with me out here. You know, I grew up very much into Star Wars, He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers, these multi-platform projects. And so I've always had a sort of a taste for that. So when we got out here and I tried to do it, it was very difficult. You would think, okay, coming up with a board game thing, coming up with a mobile game, an app, a comic book that all tie in together wouldn't be that hard, but to do that well is very difficult. And we failed a couple times, and we learned a lot of lessons. So I hit the pause button and went on about a 2-year research project, looking at every great multi-platform project that I could find, every very poor multi-platform project I could find, and again used my lawyer super abilities to forensically audit the creative choices that they made, the business choices that made. Why did the good ones succeed? Why did the bad ones fail? And I was looking for me just a creative rubric of how to move forward just for me. And you know, and being the genius that I am, I decided to do all the things like the good ones did and not do the ones that the bad ones did. And so I formed a creative process, I guess, a creative rubric that was just really for me and my own projects and the team's projects. But I decided, hey, this would be kind of a cool book. Again, I'm trying to figure out how to differentiate myself in the marketplace from all the other competitive people. And I thought, if I've created something that works for me, other people that are trying to solve this problem would benefit from this. And so that's when I published the book. So So, at the same time, I was, I was doing legal consulting while I was out here. I was working with, not as a lawyer, but with lawyers on how to best present their arguments to a jury, how to incorporate more storytelling, how to incorporate dynamic visuals, things like that, and basically trying to help produce their courtroom performance in an interesting way. While I was doing that, I was writing the book. And then when I wrote the book, really all I wanted it to be was a business, like a big fat business card for me. But once the book was released, then other people started calling me who read the book. Like Mattel called me and said, "Hey, we read your book. We want you to come in to talk about a project." The Disney Imagineers say, "Hey, we want you to come talk about it," which is something I never considered. I was just doing this for me and my own projects, but that sort of opened me up to this whole other realm of work, which was great. When you're stuck in a full-time job, have other options that are closer to where you want to be is always exciting and new and different. And then working with other people on their projects helped me on my own projects, because then you just start to build a facility of diagnosing problems, coming up with quick prescriptions for those problems, and you kind of sharpen that tool, so then when you hit your own projects, it's very efficient.